As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
All right, hey everyone, welcome into another episode of the Sleeping with the Numbers podcast. Dylan back after week one. Okay, week one. Fantasy-wise, betting-wise, it was just okay. Profit, so never complain about that. Some wild week one games, injuries. It's NFL's never easy for anyone. So we got week one out of the way. Looking forward to week two. So with that, let's do a quick recap of how week one went. I'm going to start off with the DFS lineup I shared on X, Twitter, whatever the hell it's called now. If you followed along with that, it did cash. Not the best lineup I made this week, this past week, but it did cash. The cash line was about 135, and this lineup ended up at 148.02 points. That lineup, if you did not see it, was Justin Herbert, Christian McCaffrey, Deion Jackson, Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, Jalen Reed, Juwan Johnson, Mike Williams, and the Buccaneers defense. So with that lineup, we got 1, 2, 3 flames here, but we also got 3 snowflakes, which is not great, not what you want to see in a lineup, but I think what bailed us out here is a lot of people were kind of getting that. So I targeted the Miami Chargers game, which was the game to target. Just got the side wrong. I went in on the Chargers. That's who I believed in. That's who I thought was going to win the game. That did not happen. It was a shootout, as kind of expected, with the Dolphins coming out on top. And basically, if you did not have Tyreek in your lineup, which 19.61% of people did. This is for the first down on DraftKings, by the way, just what we're using here, as it's just a low barrier to entry contest. So that's what I'm using here to quantify it, I guess. So Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams double stack did not work out. Keenan and Mike Williams were 2 of the 3 snowflakes we got here. Herbert did okay, not a snowflake, 20.92 points. But Mike Williams got knocked out of the game for a decent amount. Keenan Allen, always solid for PPR, but did not do quite enough here. 14.2 points, you would think that's enough, but it was not. The big thing here, Tyreek Hill, 47.5 points, absolutely absurd. Like I said, if you didn't have him, you likely were not cashing unless you got pretty weird with your lineup. Deion Jackson, complete bust, 5.8. Colts in general weren't great. Richardson did well. I think he was top 3 on the week for quarterback, which is awesome. Pittman coming back. I was honestly scared and off Pittman, but he seems to be doing A-okay with Richardson. So let's see if that continues. Other people here, Jalen Reed, only 5.38% owned. He was just a cheap play, bottom of the barrel. I think he was only $3K. Yeah, $3,000. He was okay, but it was the Romeo Dobbs show. Juwan Johnson, just a cheap tight end pick. He was only 3,900, 6.6 points, nothing special there. What did probably help us out was the Buccaneers. Not a lot of people had them. 2.13% of lineups. They only got 9 points, but they were expected by many people, the book, the odds makers, myself, to lose this game. They come out and win 20-17. Their defense gets 2 sacks, an interception, and only allowed 17 points. And they got 2 fumble recoveries. So decent game for the Buccaneers. That's an interesting one. I don't know if I chalk that up more to the Buccaneers defense being good. I don't quite believe they are, versus Minnesota just not playing well. So that's up in the air for debate. What does matter is this lineup that I shared with everyone. It did cash. So 148 points. The line was about 135, at least for the first down. For other ones, That line seems to be pretty consistent around like the 130-ish range up to the 140s. So either way, what if cash, not a great payout. You're not getting top 10%, top 1% with this lineup. But profit's profit, cannot complain. Looking into our official bets, and you can track these official bets on our website, sleepingwiththenumbers.com/bets. We did pretty well. I'm very happy with how this week turned out. I ended up myself in the model. This is a combination of our bets here. What really happens here? So I'll have like a note column here on the official bets page. It will tell you if it was a model pick. We are betting every single model picked money line. But if it's one that I don't quite agree with, I will make an additional bet on the opposite side just to kind of hedge it. That's just kind of a safety net that I do here for our overall return. It puts a cap on our profits, but there are times that it worked out here. The biggest example is the model picking Denver. It's in my contract. I can't bet on Russell. He's so awful. So I did hedge on the Las Vegas money line at plus 140, and that ended up winning, which, at the end we ended up profiting 0.4 units off of that. So that was well needed. So that's kind of what the notes here will say. They'll say model pick, was it a hedge, or any other things I need to let everyone know when I am making this bet. So we had a 71.053% win rate, which is awesome. And what's more important, that is a profit of 15.1 units. So very happy about that. So let's run through the games here, top to bottom. First game of the week on Thursday, we went with the model here. The model did pick Detroit to win. Detroit got the win. We bet the spread of Detroit +4, got that. I chose the under for the 53.5. First game back for everyone. Under just tends to be the best bet. I think last year the under hit over 60% of the time. So that's kind of the trend I stick with here. I know it's not fun, but the unders are usually the better bet. So for that game, myself and the model both had Detroit winning. We did take the money line bet at plus 220 for Detroit. I took the +4 with Detroit at, what did I get that at? Minus 110. And then the under 53.5. Actually, I didn't get it at 53.5. I got it at 52.5. But still took the under at minus 105. So that was actually a little bit better, because when I saw the 53.5, it was minus 110. So hit on all that, which is great. Next game here, Atlanta, Carolina. I had Atlanta winning. The model had Carolina winning. Therefore, we did hedge there. But this is a loss hedge, because Atlanta had minus odds, got them in at minus 190. We won 0.53 units, but we lost a full unit. So 0.47 units down from that bet. Had to hedge there. The model was a little too excited for Bryce Young coming in here, and I just was not there. We did take also the Carolina and Atlanta under 40.5 points. You have two teams, notoriously low-scoring teams, rookie quarterback, and then a team that wants to run the ball every single play, which is honestly pretty awesome, but it doesn't cause a lot of scoring, lets the clock keep running. So took the under for Carolina, Atlanta, and that was a win. So some more profit there. Baltimore, Houston. I had Baltimore winning. Note the model also had Baltimore winning, but found an edge to bet on Houston. So that is the money line it took. I did not hedge this one because the return for Baltimore, it simply wasn't enough. So I think they were like close to minus 300. So that was just straight up not worth it. We did end up taking Houston at plus 385 instead. That was a loss, which was expected, but hell, if that hit, kind of like the Detroit one hit, that's a decent payday. Next one, I should talk about the spread. I did, however, I guess that kind of counts as a hedge. It's not on the money line, but I did take Baltimore minus 9.5 at minus 110, so that profited 0.91 units, and then also took the under 43.5 at minus 110, so another 0.91 units there. The next game, this is one, never follow any of my Pittsburgh picks. I try my best to keep some bias out of there, but it happens. I'm only human. The model is not human and took San Francisco to win and found an edge on the bet at minus 130. That did hit. I did not hedge against that on the money line, but I did take Pittsburgh plus 1.5, which did not win. Also took under 41.5 for the game at minus 110. That did hit. Come on, guys. Maybe we get it right against the Browns, but Browns looked okay. They look good enough. We'll see what happens when they come to Pittsburgh this week. The next game here, Minnesota versus Tampa. The model did not find any edge, so no money line bet was taken here. All we did end up taking was the under 44.5, and that did hit. I did pick Minnesota to win. The model did also pick Minnesota to win, and they lost there. Colts, Jacksonville, model didn't find an edge on any of the bets. However, we both had Jacksonville winning the game, which they did. We did take Jacksonville minus 5. I got them at minus 3.5 at minus 110. And then we took the under 45.5, which did not hit. Yeah, that's a shame. So that was a bit higher scoring than expected. I was thinking Indianapolis was not going to really put up a fight, but they did, and we got a good game out of it. I don't want to complain about watching some good football. Tennessee versus the Saints. I picked Tennessee to win. The model picked New Orleans to win and found an edge to bet on the New Orleans money line. So that is what we did. We got New Orleans in at minus 175, and that did hit. So my pick lost, but I did take the Tennessee to cover as well since I picked them to win. Figured might as well throw in that spread of 2.5. Got them at minus 105, so that 1.95 units. The next one here, Broncos Raiders. I talked about this one a little bit already. Model was picking Denver to win and had an edge and was going to take their money line. I was not feeling that at all. Keep me away from Denver as much as possible. So we hedged that there, like I said, and we were able to get profit there because Vegas was the underdog. The under 43 was also taken by us, but did that hit? That did hit. Yeah, go us. Anyways, Cleveland, Cincinnati. This was a massive shock. Both myself and the model had expected the Bengals to come out and win because why wouldn't you? Also ended up taking Cincy minus 1.5. That also did not hit. And we took model had an edge for Cincinnati money line at minus 125. What did we get them at? Minus 136. So we get a loss there. Thanks, Cleveland, ruining things all the time. However, the under. Did we take the under 47.5? We did, but we got it at 46.5, which won at minus 110, 0.91 unit profit there. Washington, Arizona. Both myself and the model had Washington to win, but no edge was found, so no money line bet taken. I did have Arizona covering, so we were able to hit that at minus 110. I picked over 38. I thought that line was pretty low. And just about any time I do see a line under 40, I try to go take that over. Just because historically, that's been a pretty easy number to hit. They only scored 36 points, so that did not hit this time around. Los Angeles Chargers, Miami Dolphins, probably the most exciting game of the week. Myself and the model both had the Chargers winning. Found an edge on the money line for the Chargers, and I had the Chargers spread and under 51. So I was hoping for a shootout, and I got it. However, I bet the under. Just red all around on this game. Luckily, we got close to even with the free DraftKings lineup that I shared. Next game, a shocker to everyone except for the model. Seattle Seahawks taking on the LA Rams. I had Seattle winning, covering, and I took the over. None of those happened, but luckily the model had the Rams money line show an edge, so we did end up taking the Rams plus 190, and that, we got it at plus 200, so that was a profit of 2 units. Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers, myself and the model, much like New Orleans, mostly Derek Carr, I cannot bet on the Bears, so I took Green Bay to win cover. The model took Green Bay as well and found an edge, so we got the Green Bay at plus odds. We ended up getting them at even money, so a solid even 1 unit of profit off of this game. I had the under 41.5, which did not hit. That was one of the high. Was that the highest scoring game other than Miami? I think it was. 58 points scored. Miami had 70. 52. Yeah, second highest scoring game of the week was Green Bay, Chicago. So that's a little shocking there, especially when the line was at 41.5. So we'll see what happens with Green Bay carrying that win into this week. Patriots, Eagles. This one was also pretty easy. Across the line, I had Philly to win. In the spread, the model had Philly to win and found an edge on the money line. So we got them at minus 190. The Philly spread at minus 3.5. That ended up got that in at minus 110. The absolute demolishing, horrible game of Dallas against the Giants. Myself, the model, had Dallas winning. We took the money line, and we took Dallas to cover. Also took under 45 points. Only 40 points were scored, all by Dallas. So, all green across the board for that one. I think that's the only game we went green across the board. Yeah, seems to be that way. And then finally, the kind of disheartening game of the Bills and the Jets. The Jets win, which was fun to see, but now Aaron Rodgers out for the season. That's going to be scary. However, I did take the Jets win under on their win total, so that does help there because Zach Wilson will not be getting it done. Myself and the model had Buffalo winning. However, we found no edge on this game, so no money line bet was taken. No edge was found. Did not take any bets on this game, just enjoyed the ride. So, overall, I went 9-7 for picking a winner. Model also went 9-7. I went 9-7 on the spread and 9-7 on the over-under. So 9-7 straight up across the board. The model bets went 7-5, including 2 big underdog wins with Detroit and the Los Angeles Rams. So that is awesome to see. That results in a 2.7 unit profit and a 22.24% return on investment. So cannot complain about that. But if you want to follow along with these bets, they are on our website, sleepingwiththenumbers.com. /bets. So let's hop into this week. It is Wednesday, September 13th at the time of this recording. The Rodgers news is out. First practice is in, so we have all those reports. I am now running the model to get the probability of winning and the edge for each game to see if there will be any money line picks we are going to take. So we'll run through all of the models picks here, and then if you want to find my picks and all of our official bets, like I said, sleepingwiththenumbers.com/bets. Pretty easy. So let's get into it. So the first game we got here, Thursday night football, the Minnesota Vikings 0-1 taking on the 1-0 Philadelphia Eagles. Injuries here. I got so confused. I went to the Eagles injuries and it says R. Blankenship, and that immediately triggered Rodrigo Blankenship in my head. So that was pretty wild. He has a torso injury. It also looks like Kenny Gainwell is going to be out of this game with a torso injury as well. That's pretty wild. I know he got a good bulk of the carries here with Rashad Penny sitting out for this game as a healthy scratch. I don't know what that running back room is going to do. If you have any of them in fantasy, it'd be better if you didn't, quite honestly. But Eagles are 6.5 point home favorites here, minus 266 on the money line, plus 215 for the Vikings. Another thing I want to bring up on our website, there is a link in the nav bar. It's just called Games. If you go and click that, it will show every game of the week, the date it takes place, both teams, and then it's also going to show you where you can get the best money line odds and the best spread odds. So it will tell you, like, I don't know, let's look at what we just had here. I'll just make it up. Let's say you have Atlanta against Carolina, and the money line, the best money line you can find on Atlanta is minus 179 at betonline.ag. All that information is here. It will also have the other side. The best money line you can find for Carolina is plus 164 at FanDuel. So that's kind of nice here. It does the same thing for the spread. The way the spread works can be a little bit confusing, but it is going based off of odds, not so much the points. So sometimes you might see, it's telling us the best odds are plus 102 for minus 3.5 for Atlanta, whereas you might be able to get minus 3 for Atlanta for minus 110 instead. So it goes based on the odds, not so much the actual point spread. So just a cool thing on the website that we have here to help you, because you need to shop around for odds. That really is a key thing. I know in many states that is difficult to do, but if you are in a state that has multiple sports books, sign up for all of them, make use of those sign up bonuses, and then shop for the best odds, because if you're not doing that, you're probably losing money one way or another. So with that said, going back to the model, where is my model? Here we go. All right, so the model has the win probability for Philadelphia at 68.728%. That makes a lot of sense to me. No edge there found. Win probability for Minnesota, obviously it's the inverse, 31.232%. Also, no edge found. So what that means is the model will not be taking a bet on this game, and we can continue forward. Green Bay versus Atlanta. Both of them 1-0 coming into this game. Currently, the line is very, very close. And again, if you're shopping around, you might be able to find the inverse. So Green Bay is a -1 away favorite, minus 119 on. I actually don't. I'm looking at Pro Football Focus. I don't know where they pull these odds. That might be something worth looking into. But the best odds I can find are minus 112 for Green Bay. So those are what we would use. Minus 101, basically even money if you were to bet money line for the Atlanta Falcons. Over under of 40.5 points. The model gives Atlanta a 32.055% chance of winning. No edge found there. However, it did find an edge for Green Bay, who it says has a 67.945% chance of winning, which gives a 15.114% edge. So the model will be betting on the Green Bay Packers here. That's a very tough one. I think I tend to agree that the Packers can get it done. Injuries. Aaron Jones has a leg injury. He's questionable. But it's only Wednesday, so we can see what happens there. No injuries to the Falcons. This is going to be an awesome game. I really do think so. And maybe low scoring, as expected by Vegas at 40.5 points. Like I said, Falcons run the damn ball all the time. And the Packers, I don't think the belief behind Jordan Love is really there yet. Maybe they get Christian Watson back this week, which would be interesting because if they have Romeo Doubs did the vast majority of the work for the Packers, and it'll be cool to see him get a healthy partner to maybe take some of the pressure off. Next game here, Las Vegas is going to be taking on the Buffalo Bills. Vegas 1-0, Buffalo 0-1. And this is where it's tough. It is tough here. So the model did find an edge for the Raiders. So this feels very similar to the Houston bet that it took last week. I think it really is just because the odds are so massive. It found the Raiders odds at plus 350. Obviously, it is not giving them... It found their odds at plus 350, but not only that. Using the most recent data that it has learned from last week. Now, this is going to be a little tough because the way the model learns is going to be adding new data week by week, and it may have a slight recency bias since there is only currently 1 week of the season. Yes, we use last year's data as well to help train the model, but it takes most of the data from the latest game into account. So, what does that mean? That means Vegas had a pretty good game. Buffalo did not have a very good game. So, in the model's mind, it is giving the Raiders a 67.12% chance of winning and the Bills a 32.88% chance of winning. So, obviously, I don't know if you're going to want to follow along with that bet, but that is what the model will be taking. And hey, I made the model. It's basically my kid. I got to support it, right? And if you're wondering if I would take a hedge for this bet because I don't fully agree with the model here, I would not. I would not hedge this because the best odds I'm finding for Buffalo is minus 395. And if you followed this show for any amount of time, we don't take anything less than minus 200. The return just is not there and the risk is too much. So we're going to be taking the Raiders here. Let's go. Let's see what happens. The Bills are a minus 9.5 point home favorite. The over-under is 47. You got to imagine the Bills are going to get it right this game, come out pissed off as they should be. If you watch Stephon Diggs after the game, you could tell he was pretty upset. It was not a good look for the team, but we continue forward. They'll get it right. They're a good enough team to do so. It'll be interesting to see what the Raiders are able to do in week 2. AFC North battle, Ravens against the Bengals. Ravens 1-0, Bengals 0-1 after going down to the Browns. The model absolutely hates the Bengals. They have played the worst game I think the model has ever seen. And because of that, they are giving the Bengals just a 3.04% chance of winning. Meaning, the Ravens get a 96.96% chance of winning, a massive 59.081% edge to the Ravens according to the model at plus 164 money line. So the model, and therefore myself, will be taking the Ravens to win this game. Again, a little bit of recency bias, right? The Ravens take on and beat a very bad Houston Texans team. The Bengals just look putrid against the Cleveland Browns. So, again, proceed with caution. But my whole goal here, other than making everyone money, is to train a good model that is able to find edges that I cannot see myself. So that's what we're going for here. I just want to give that background info on the model, just so you know not to really follow it. The Bengals are 3.5 point home favorites, over under of 46.5. Should be close. I think divisional games usually are. I probably lean towards the under on that as well. Seattle versus the Lions. The Seattle Seahawks also did not look very good. The Lions get a great win against a tough opponent, Kansas City Chiefs. This one makes a bit more sense to me. The Lions are actually favored in this game at minus 234 on the money line, minus 5.5 point home favorites, and an over-under of 47. The model giving the Lions a 64.93% chance of winning, but no edge, gives the Seattle Seahawks a 35.067% chance of winning, but did find an edge to bet on Seattle at plus 200. So that is what it will be doing. Chargers, Titans, this matchup, I haven't looked at the output yet. I'm kind of reading this as we go along. Now seeing that the Chargers are favored here at minus 151, minus 3 away favorite, over under of 45 points. The model has this pretty close, giving the Titans a 47.854% chance of winning, Chargers a 52.146% chance of winning. However, it found the edge on the underdog side, on the Titans side, a 5.83% edge for the Tennessee Titans at plus 138. That's currently the best odds that we were able to find. We will, and that's a bet. That's a bet we're going to be taking. There's an edge. We're taking it. Even though I do believe a bit more in the Chargers here, I don't know if I hate the Tennessee pick enough to hedge. But again, pay attention to our website and you can track all of the latest bets there. Chicago, Tampa Bay. Chicago coming in 0-1. Tampa Bay getting a win off of the Vikings. Tampa Bay, 2.5 point home favorite. Over under of 41. The model will be giving the, let's see if there's an edge here. Oh yes, big edge to Tampa Bay, has them at 94.388% chance of winning, with a 36.055% edge on the money line. So that is the bet we'll be taking, getting them at minus 140. The win probability for Chicago, just a horrible 5.612%. Fields not looking great, kind of expected by me, but even fantasy-wise, he didn't look great. I have him on a team, and needed that boy to run a bit more. Also, I thought they got DJ Moore so they could throw him the ball, but they barely did that. So I don't know what the Bears are doing. They're just a bad team in general. And then Ohio State quarterbacks, they don't get it done in the NFL. Until I have seen anything different, I will continue to say that. Kansas City, Jacksonville. This, I'm curious to see what we got. Okay. So Kansas City is favored 3.5 point away favorites. Over under of 51 points. Give me that under, I think. Still not sure if Kelsey's coming back yet. Bad game by the Chiefs. Good game by the Jags. But the model still has the probability in the favor of the Chiefs at 59.622% chance of winning, 40.378% chance of winning for the Jags. Just a slight edge for the Jags money line, a 1.917% edge at plus 160. So that is where we are going to be taking our bets. That worked so far against the Chiefs. Let's see if we can do it again. AFC South matchup. This game's going to be gross. Indianapolis Colts taking on the Houston Texans. Colts coming in as a -1 away favorite. Just a very low over-under of 39.5. And like I said at the beginning of the show, generally, if it's under 40, I'm going to take the over. That's just how it's played out historically. So let's keep going with that. Model giving the Texans only a 21.556% chance of winning. No edge on their money line, but a massive edge on the Colts money line. 24.956% at -115. And it has the probability of a Colts win at 78.444%. So that's where we go there, and that's where I think I agree with that. I think both teams are absolutely horrible, but the Colts are just a little less horrible. San Francisco at 1-0 after demolishing my Pittsburgh Steelers will be taking on the 1-0 Los Angeles Rams. The Niners are 8-point away favorites and an over-under at 45 points. Looking here for what the model is giving edge-wise. The edge goes again to the Rams, an 8.439% edge, 34.08% chance of winning for the Rams. So wow, I want to reiterate what the edge means and everything. So the edge is calculated by taking the calculated probability of a win for a team and then subtracting the implied probability calculated from the odds from the sports book. So the win probability, like I said, 34.08 minus the implied probability from the plus 190 odds from the sports book, 25.641%. You subtract that, you get 8.439% edge. So while the model expects the Niners to win, it's basically saying the value of betting on the Rams is too good to pass up. And when money line, or really any bet, is that high up in the plus odds, you don't have to be right all the time. You just have to be right, 25.641% of the time. That's what an implied probability means. If you are taking odds at plus 290 or longer, you only need to be correct 25.641% of the time to break even. That's the other name for implied probability, is the break-even amount or probability. So just want to make sure everyone understands how these are being calculated, why they're important, and if you want to get some more reading, the logic of sports betting dives into this very, very well. So the bet here will be for the Rams money line. Giants, Arizona, both winless teams after 1 week. Giants currently 5.5 point away favorites. Oh my. But the model has Arizona win probability at 94.877%, giving them a 63.131% chance. I'm sorry, 63.131% edge based on the plus 215 odds. This is absolutely absurd. But the Giants got destroyed after playing Dallas. So that is why this is what it is. If you want to be safe, this is probably the one bet you do not want to tail. That is just a lot of trust you're putting in the model, which I'm going to do, because that's the point of the damn show. But I just want everyone to be safe. If you skip out on this one, no one will blame you. But this is just it's fun and exciting to see how a statistical model comes up with these things, but it's a little nerve-wracking at times. Over under set at 39.5 points. Give me the over. I think the Giants can come back, get this right after that humiliation they took. And the Cardinals, their defense is poo-poo. So they'll let in some scores. Man, this is going to be a gross game. You don't want to watch this game, is what that turns into. New York Jets, Dallas Cowboys, both 1-0. Dallas Cowboys, 9.5 point home favorites. The edge is given to the Cowboys here. 83.79% chance of a win, 3.79% edge. However, the money line for the Cowboys is at minus 400. We've talked about it before. We are not taking that bet. Anything minus 200 or less, we stay away from here. So this is one we will not bet on. However, the over 38.5 points is looking good to me. Dallas just put up 40 themselves. Jets defense, way better, absolutely. But I don't think the Jets will need to score that much in order to hit that line. But I've been proven wrong before. Let's see what happens this time. Another game you want no part of. The 1-0 Washington Commanders take on the 0-1 Denver Broncos. Broncos still a favorite somehow at minus 3.5 point home favorites. Over under 39 points. Again, I'll probably take that. The model is giving the edge and the win to the Washington Commanders. 51.667% chance of a win. 13.932% edge. That is one I will easily ride with the model because I hate Russell Wilson. So that I'm all for that. I don't think the Commanders are great, but I think Russell Wilson is worse. So I will take that bet. And again, I think the key thing to see here is so the best odds we found for the Commanders are at plus 165. That's just so absurd to me. After watching Denver play again, I don't know if people still just think Peyton's fixing everything somehow and it was just week one. We'll get it right next week. I just don't buy into that at all. I talked about it in previous shows. Peyton's not going to come in here and just fix everything. I don't know why people buy into that narrative. Another divisional matchup. Dolphins 1-0 taking on the 0-1 Patriots. Dolphins are 3-point away favorites. Over under 46.5 points. The model is giving the win to the Patriots. Wow, that is shocking. Win to the Patriots and the edge to the Patriots. So 56.113% win probability, 14.446% edge. That does surprise me because what we've seen here is not that the Patriots really had a terrible game, but the Dolphins I felt had a really good one. So that it is interesting that the model is taking the Patriots side here. It might be because just so many points were given up by the Dolphins that it's using that. That might be weighted a little bit heavier. But yeah, that is an interesting one to me. Two Monday Night Football matchups, both divisional matchups. First, the NFC South New Orleans a -3 away favorite against the Carolina Panthers. The model will be giving the Saints the win and the moneyline edge at -155, 75.963% chance of winning, 15.179% edge. I do tend to agree with that one. I know I talked about how I hate betting with Derek Carr. I just personally do not feel that Carolina is going to be the team to beat them here. There's really only, Tampa won too. But in my mind, Saints have the best chance of winning the division. I think Atlanta's probably right behind them. But, Tampa Bay got a win here too, and they looked okay. They looked good enough to get it done. So maybe this division is going to be a bit more competitive than we originally thought. Over-under of just 39.5 points. Give me that over. And then finally, the other Monday Night Football matchup, Cleveland traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Cleveland, just -2 point away favorites, which shocks me after them coming out beating the Bengals like they did and the Steelers getting just shit rocked by the Niners. Super low over under of 38.5 points. Give me the over. Only a 4.716% chance win for the Steelers according to the model. And their edge is -41.8%. The Browns, 95.284% chance of winning, giving the Cleveland money line a 39.729% edge at -125. So I will probably hedge that one. Completely understand if you just stick with the model there because the math is behind it all. But that will do it. A little bit of. I also want to give a little context on how things have gone based on a predicted win probability. So talked about this last week about the model, but we had a few matchups here where a team has over 90% chance of winning. When the model has called a team to have a 90% or more chance of winning, it's been right about the winning part almost 98% of the time. So just some interesting things there. But that makes sense. As the predicted probability gets higher, the percentage of actual wins should also get higher, basing it off all of this math. But just wanted to give a heads up there, especially here with Cleveland being the last one here with a 95% chance of winning. That sounds likely. Makes me sad, want to cry. But that's where we're at. Check us out on our website, sleepingwiththenumbers.com, to follow all of our bets. We're also on Action Network. The model has its own Action Network, Sweatin, SWTN_model, and then SWTN_podcast is where we will track the remaining bets. You can also get the free DFS lineups that I put out on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. You can follow us at SWTN_podcast. But that will do it for this week. Good luck to everyone in fantasy, in your betting. But let's keep making some money. We've done well so far. Bye-bye.